You probably all know at this point how much I love a bit of wardrobe analysis, and today I wanted to talk through my most worn items for the winter season. I always find it really interesting reflecting back and seeing which pieces I ended up reaching for the most, which ones ended up being wise purchases and which ones weren't, or perhaps just didn't end up getting worn as much as I anticipated for whatever reason. Now I'm going to just dive straight into it and do no particular order just to mix things up because I usually have a bit of a process that I walk through. I will leave a link down below, also a playlist to all my previous most worn videos if you want to go back and watch any of those as well, and everything that I talk about today will be linked in the description box. Okay, so let's talk about the item that I think of all of these pieces I'm the most excited by. And it is these beautiful cotton boucle trousers from House of Dagmar. A pair of trousers that I love so much that I actually also have them in the white as well. They're a high-waisted style with a true straight leg and they're cropped too. I tend to really love a cropped trouser, and I think in the cooler months they look really nice with a great pair of ankle boots where you've got a slightly higher shaft that comes up the leg ever so slightly, or even you could actually wear a knee-high boot under these because the leg opening is so wide. But they're just so beautiful. I know quite a few people ended up purchasing these because I shared myself wearing them so many times, and the feedback I got was these are so much nicer than I was actually expecting. I think it's because the cotton boucle, especially on the black pair, is quite subtle, but it just adds this really interesting texture. I really love that sort of dimensional, that tactile component to my clothing, and I think that is probably part and parcel of why I have loved wearing these so much. Also, they're just a really good basic. I think many of us already have a great pair of black trousers in our wardrobes, and for me it's really the versatility of this item. The fact that it can go from work to weekend, you can easily dress them up to wear for a evening out. They also work across all seasons too, depending on the styling and also the fabrication. So absolutely love them. I have them in the size 36. The sizing on the Essence website is really confusing. I actually referred to the House of Dagmar website to make sure I ordered the correct size, but let me show you what the white boucle looks like too. Oh, it's going to be a little bit blown out, but it's ever so slightly off-white, I would say, and definitely I'll do some close-ups so you can get a real sense of what the fabric looks like. But these are great because you can actually just throw them in the washing machine, so they are very, very easy to care for. And maintenance, that's something I think about a lot when I'm adding anything to my wardrobe. I want it to be relatively fuss-free. In case this is your first time watching one of these videos, all of my most worn items are actually based on hard data, so I do track how often I'm wearing everything in my closet. And actually I want to jump to another absolute favorite piece in my wardrobe right now, which is one I talked about in a recent brand review video. It is this cotton cashmere crew neck sweater from Kane. I really love the color because the gray is ever so slightly unusual. It almost pulls slightly cool but also slightly neutral, and it has this flecked appearance to the yarn, which means that there's sort of subtle variations in the color, which I find really beautiful. It's really kind of quite drapey, as you might be able to see, so it does have a softness to it, but because it is a cotton and cashmere blend, and if I recall correctly, the cashmere is recycled cashmere. Yes, it isn't as soft as a 100% cashmere sweater. However, I will say it is not itchy at all, and it is super warm too. And I did in my review say that I hadn't experienced any pilling with it. I have noticed some minor pilling now because I've continued to wear it obviously since I filmed that, but it's nothing major. It's not like if I was wearing a cashmere sweater and getting that friction with my bag across my body or just from holding one of my kids. This is very minor, and it's something that I would probably just tidy up at the end of the season. So something I'm going to be looking at taking care of very, very soon. I have this in the size small. It is quite a generous cut, as with anything from Kane, so if you want more of an intentional fit, then I would recommend sizing down. I do have a discount code with them, which is JamieLee15. I have it on screen in the description box too, which will get you 15% off. But one thing I would actually recommend doing if you are planning on buying anything is potentially waiting until Black Friday, because last year, which is when I bought my alpaca knit sweater, I got that for 30% off, I believe. So yeah, maybe one to bookmark if you've had your eye on it, and then wait until then so that you can really save. My most worn bag of the season was my Tilly's Big Sis crossbody bag from Saban. Now this is in a berry hue, which I believe was a limited edition one, but they do lots of fun colors and they always release some new colorways every sort of season, which is really fun. I would liken this to my Celine Trio, which is actually the bag I happen to be using today, so you can get a sense for the size comparison. I'd say the Saban is ever so slightly taller, but the thing that I really love about this is the functionality. So it's a crossbody bag, yes, and you might be able to see from the side here that it does have some sections or some pockets. So when you open it up, has quite a generous zipper as well, which is really smooth. It has a twill lining and you've got the two main pockets, one on the front, one on the back, but then you've also got a zip-up pouch in the center, and then either side of the zip-up pouch you have additional pockets with card slots, which is beyond. So it means you don't even need to have a wallet with you. This actually would make a really fantastic option traveling if you wanted something where you could keep, you know, hand sanitizer. You can maybe fit a really small bottle of water in here. You wouldn't be able to zip it up though, but I like the functionality of it. It is really beautifully made, really high quality. The grained leather means that it is really robust and it's going to endure any kind of marks or scratches, that sort of thing. They're not really going to show up. I also do have the additional strap on the front here. Now, just for full transparency, I am actually a Saban ambassador for Australia, which is something that is a real pinch me moment, something I'm really, really proud of. And so this was gifted to me as part of my work with the brand, and I'm doing another 6-month ambassadorship with them. So that's something I'm so excited about because their bags are beautiful. You'll have seen me wear them loads as well. And again, I do have a discount code too, which is Jamie Loves Saban, which is 15% off full price bags. So that is my most worn, but yeah, again, just to compare to the Celine Trio, I think this is a nice alternative if you want to get that look. But yeah, most worn bag. Then maybe let's talk about my most worn jackets. I think we'll start with my coat and then we'll talk about my blazer. Now, my most worn coat of the season had to be my curated boyfriend coat, and I have a little confession to make, and that is that I hardly had to wear a coat over our winter here in Sydney. You know, I live in Australia and Sydney is a very kind of mild climate. It's relatively warm here, and our winters I generally sort of hover around the 17 to 21 degree mark. So while you might need to wear a coat first thing in the morning when it's sort of 14 degrees and the temperature hasn't risen too much, you'll find in the middle of the day it is probably not even necessary, and you can get away with a light layer underneath a sweater. So for that reason, it was kind of not something I wore loads, but this was actually my most worn coat last year too. So I can really speak to the fact that this is an enduring item in my wardrobe. It's a real classic piece. It goes with everything. I've had a few people message me recently about the curated coats and whether they would get this in the camel or in the charcoal, and whether or not I recommend the classic coat over the boyfriend coat. Now, I've done a full review on the curated coats, which I'm going to link in the cards. My advice would be, if you are petite, you may like to stick to the classic style because it is a relaxed fit and it's not going to overwhelm your frame. If you are taller and you like that sort of Scandinavian, effortless, oversized sort of a look, then the boyfriend is probably going to be more up your alley, because between the two, I prefer the boyfriend on me, and I'm 172 centimeters tall. Stick with your usual size. I got a size small and I find it's a perfect relaxed fit on me. If you're an AU10 as well, the small would probably be a great fit on you. I think you could go with either the small or the medium in that case, depending on whether you want it to fit a little bit closer. Like I said, it is a relaxed fit. Even the sleeves and everything about it's quite slouchy. But that is sort of my general advice. It is very warm. It's not lined, but it's a double-faced wool. So you're going to find that that is going to keep you plenty warm, and it's going to be very insulating. My only bugbear is that it doesn't come with belt loops. It does come with fabric so that you can attach them yourself at a point which would be best on your body. But I've had this coat for over 2 years now, and I haven't been in any rush to go to a tailor to actually get that sorted. So I know I could potentially do it myself, but I don't want to mess it up. So that's just something to consider. But I tend to wear open anyway, as opposed to worn belted. If I lived in a colder climate, then I think that that would be something I would make more of a priority. But absolutely beautiful quality, and definitely a coat I would recommend if you have had your eye on it. Okay, sorry for the setup change, but I don't know what's happened to my DSLR camera, but it went all kind of foggy and misty. I'm wondering if it's because it's really humid today. I think it's something like 93% humidity, so backup camera. We're going to try this on my vlogging camera. So I was just chatting about my coat from the Curated, and I wanted to move on to my most worn blazer of the season, which was my bee blazer from Frankie Shop. Now, I totally appreciate that this is a hit or miss item. You either love it or you hate it, and that's totally fine. I am definitely kind of coming back around to really appreciating my slimmer blazers again, but I do think it's fun to have something that is a bit more oversized because I love playing with proportion, and I think it can be a really interesting way to mix up your outfits. In terms of the price and the quality, I mean, this is an expensive blazer and you can definitely find alternatives out there that are more affordable. I do think that it is pretty decent for what it is. Like, mine has worn really well. It doesn't have any there have been no sort of snags to the fabric. There are no loose stitches, no loose threads. It's felt really comfortable, and it's actually felt relatively carefree as well. I haven't felt like I've had to be precious with it, which is something I do look for in my clothing as well, especially things that I'm going to be wearing on high rotation anyway. But this has been great. I actually also really like how it looks worn belted at the waist, so you can really cinch in and you get a bit of a peplum effect. Oh, and I should have said, I got mine in the size small. I could 100% have sized down to an extra small. I actually think that might have been a little bit better even on me. I'm a true size AU8 or US 4 for size reference. But yeah, definitely something to keep in mind if you have been considering this one as well. But yeah, just a good blazer, I think, is a great thing to have in your closet. And probably you'll notice the general theme, especially if you watch these videos regularly, it's that I tend to always find myself going back to those classic items. They tend to be the things that I wear repeatedly, and it's just a real reminder that quite often it's those hero pieces that we maybe might not think that much of that end up being the ones that we wear the most. Okay, 2 more items to go. First up, we've got my most worn top, which is going to be no surprise to anyone that it was a t-shirt. This has probably been my most worn top for the past 2 years, and I don't know if that is just more the lifestyle, being home a lot more and wanting to just feel really comfortable, or if it's the fact that I've got children. I tend to often have to change my t-shirt more than once a day. This is just, it wouldn't be a normal day if I didn't go through at least 2 outfit changes, I swear. But most worn tee is, again, I'm pretty sure I've worn this the most in a previous season, my Series Life Organic cotton stepped hem t-shirt. I love this so much. I have it in multiple colors. I actually just recently purchased the black one, but I have to say the fabric seems to be a little bit different. This is really quite robust, sturdy. It's got some structure to it while still actually being ever so slightly sheer, whereas the black one, so obviously that is opaque, but it does have more of this kind of soft silky feel to it, which is different. This one feels a little bit more textured, I would say. So they're using a different cotton. I would say that the updated version is made using longer cotton fibers as opposed to this one, which is probably made using shorter cotton fibers, but actually I prefer the way this one feels. It's just a little bit more interesting and just feels a little more rugged in a way. I don't know, that's probably the only way I could describe it, but a great basic. I have it in a size small. Then most worn shoes were my, I think these ones are called the mini flats. These are from Vivaya. I did work with them, and these have just gone on to be the ones that I will wear on repeat. They're so comfortable. I'm gonna link my review down below as well, or in the cards, if you want to kind of get a little bit more information about the brand. Again, I do have a discount code for them too, which is MJ15 for 15% off. But they're just a really sweet little pointed toe shoe. God, it's really hard to show you because I'm wearing black and then the shoes are black, but I do love a pointed toe flat like this in a black color because I tend to wear so much black. I do like monochromatic outfits, and they're a really nice way to elevate what I'm wearing while still feeling very comfortable but looking chic. So that is really, I suppose, the ultimate goal when I'm getting dressed. I want it to feel effortless, but I also want it to look like I have made an effort and for there to be some level of refinement. I also completely forgot to mention my most worn jeans. They were the Goldie Riley jeans. These are a cropped length and they have a little bit of minor distressing at the ankle, which I like. I think it kind of adds a nice casual element to them. These are such a comfortable pair of jeans. They are 100% cotton, but they've got a bit of a softness to them while retaining this nice rigidity. And I would say that they fit true to size. This is a style that I don't think is supposed to be skin tight. I think it's supposed to have a little bit of ease through the leg. but absolutely love them, and I think the quality is amazing. Totally get the hype around a Goldie jeans. So those are all of my most worn items. I actually thought I might maybe just quickly share also my most worn jewelry, because there's probably not something I talk about enough from an earrings perspective. I've got it all on right now. My Joran hoops from Linear. These are really quite lightweight, but they have a chunky look to them. They're a really good classic option to have for every day. I know they've got a sale on right now with up to 60% off, so a good time to potentially add them to cart. Most worn necklace would have to be this one here, the double curved chain necklace from Midori. I've had this for, I want to say 2 or 3 years now, and it's one I repeatedly reach for. It is a little bit chunky, it's got a bit of heft to it, but it also feels kind of dainty, very sort of simple. Most worn rings are probably these 2 signet rings that I've got from Midori that I like to stack. One is a plain gold band in the gold vermeil, and then the other one has little teeny tiny diamonds on it, so it's got a bit of sparkle, which I adore. And then most worn bracelet would have to be this chunky one from Monica Vinader, which they've got 25% off at the moment. Actually, they've got a code, so I'll leave that detail down below as well. Clearly November is a good time to be shopping because there are sales on everywhere. But yeah, that is a little roundup of my most worn items for the winter season. This is obviously with a slightly mild winter bent, considering that I do live in such a warm climate, but I hope that you found this interesting, useful. If you are headed into winter yourself, if you're living in the Northern Hemisphere, and I'd love to know what your most worn autumn winter staple is, please tell me in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching, for spending some of your day with me. I'm forever grateful. If you're new and you would like to see more videos like this from me, then I would love for you to subscribe, and I just hope that you have the most beautiful week ahead. I will see you next time with a brand new video. See you very soon. Bye.